Welcome to She's Got Guts, where functional nutrition meets ancient wisdom to bring you grounded insights and practical tools for your wellness journey. Join Lara, licensed Eastern medicine practitioner and wellness wizard, and Molly, registered dietitian and gut health expert, as they unpack trends, tackle bloating, balance hormones, and help you thrive in modern womanhood without completely frickin' losing your mind. Let's do this. Happy New Year.
Happy winter solstice, babes. I feel like 2025 was a shitstorm of a snake shedding, and I'm ready to ride unbridled on a horse with my long hair in the air. Let's go. Galloping in.
Let's fucking go. So what exactly, can you tell me a little bit about, because I saw this too, that this was a 9-year, the year of the shedding, the year of the snake, the year that everything that wasn't serving you kind of came to fruition and is leaving. And then next year is the year of riding on the horse with your long hair. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah. Well, we have the 12 animals, right, that we go through with the 12-year cycle. And I think that the year 9 is 7s and 9s are real important in Chinese medicine in terms of year cycles and stuff. So I think with this, I don't know 9 specific. I don't know actually a lot about 9, to be honest. I know more about 7s. But when we're in the year of the snake, we are shedding what we no longer need. And I think it's one of those things that we're actually, like a snake only eats, once a month. We take something in and we digest it. And with that, we decide what we're going to keep. We decide what we're going to get rid of. And we move into kind of the next phase. And then the outside of how we interact with the world sheds too. So when I think of that from, a heartfelt soul level, that could be, leaving a relationship or leaving my job or changing jobs, or I'm going to be more involved in politics now. I'm going to volunteer more. I want more heartfelt energy in the world. And I think when we hop on the horse, but the horse, right now it's more winter solstice energy where we're soaking up all the nourishment before the light comes back, and we're able to, use all of that energy that we've stored. So the Chinese New Year doesn't happen till mid-February. It's February 17th is when the horse rolls around. So we do have some time, and I'll end up talking a lot about goals around that time, most likely doing a podcast then, because that's actually when the spring starts happening. Right now, we're still in the depths of the winter. So
I like that.
But
I don't think anybody's ready.
Yeah. But I think the horse gets around. We can talk more about it, but I think it's going to be really great. I haven't been this cognizant of this type of energy in a while. And I think it's because globally we are shedding so much of our beliefs and finding out where we really land and what's really important to us. And do we want to care for the earth, or do we want to continue to make money? I think we just need to decide right now which one it's going to be. So here we are.
What I'm talking about is actually not Chinese astrology. So now I see where our problem is. Year 9 in numerology, which is applied to the universal year, meaning 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9.
Yeah.
So that signifies a major cycle of completion, closure, transformation, letting go. And then year 1 is next year, I believe. 2 plus 0 plus...
Yeah, it'd be a 10.
Okay, so it's a 1. Right.
Yeah.
Perf. What that means then, so key themes of the 9, ending and release, so kind of like shedding your skin, introspection and reflection, humanitarianism and compassion, spiritual growth and transformation, life-altering changes. So kind of clearing out, facing truths. I've been seeing a lot of this on the internet, clearing out and just kind of seeing that things that maybe don't serve you are really pushing your buttons. And so I'm excited that we are getting out of this energy, because I too feel like I can't believe this year is over, but I also am so glad this year is over because I hated it, most of it.
Almost everyone I talk to is like, oh my gosh, 2025 kicked my ass. My ass. But unless you clear this stuff out and make space for the new, it won't happen. And
it won't.
Oftentimes before expansion, before true heartfelt, loving, aligned, like mind and heart and soul and deep in that base chakra type of expansion happen is after the darkness. So let's
Yeah.
be mindful that this is all part of the master plan.
Yes, absolutely. In the theme of that, the American New Year, we
America. Let's talk America. What do we do in America when it's the
I
new
don't think
year?
we'll
We
talk
make
America. I don't
ridiculous,
think that's ever going to be
unachievable
a
goals.
topic. Nope.
But we do.
But what I would like to bring up for everyone who is listening or in early January or anytime certainly that you're feeling like you need a shift is sometimes with new beginnings or we could say what's the word when someone puts something upon you like
An
falsified or
influence.
forced new beginnings or put
Oh,
upon.
like there's like a external pivot of sorts, like you've been influenced or
Sure.
something's been, gosh, that's great. Why? Okay, this is such a funny example of perimenopause right here. I'm
Yeah,
searching for the
put
adjective.
upon. Hey,
I think
chat.
a perfectly long sentence is a great description for what you're trying to say. That's totally
Okay.
fine. Let's just go with
Well,
that.
and here it has been at least 2 minutes. So if you're feeling forced into creating some version of yourself that you're either not ready to create or that you're just feeling you're supposed to create and don't want to, or you're
Yeah.
not quite sure what direction you would like to go in your creation, you're not alone,
Mhm.
certainly. I think a lot of us
Mhm.
are feeling that way, number one.
Mhm.
Number two, again, with hype and marketing and lots of things that are, I think, out and about during the Christmas season, I get so burnt out by all of that that by the new
Mhm.
year, I'm not ready to like buy in to
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
because I feel like we've been, you know what I mean, buying in for so
Mhm.
long. And to me, what I'm doing is I am addressing the anxieties that I feel about the new year. So some of them are related to professional, like I want to make sure that the group that I'm building for women, the Women's Gut Health Method that I've been spending so much time on here in the fourth quarter of the year to build
Good
out
job.
for you all is I want it to like reach people. I want it to be successful in that it does what I have poured my knowledge into it to
Yeah.
do and my methods into it to do. And I want people to feel like they get something from it. And, in order for anyone to join anything that anybody ever does, we've got to make sure that we, as regular old people and who are healers and who aren't really marketers, try to explain that realistically
Mhm.
on these platforms that we have. So, like, my social media, for example, and my email list would be the two places that you'll hear about it most. So, there's some anxiety I have about getting my message across of something that's so close to me and so near and dear to my heart and that I love so much that I'm so excited about. Taking action there instead of just feeling like I'm going to beat myself up and tell myself like everything I do is a failure no matter what I try, which is
Oh,
obviously not true, like clearly
correct.
not true. And
Mhm.
it's so funny when you look at anything that you set out to be. Like, for example, I also have some healthcare goals, I have some weight goals, I have some strength
Mhm.
goals. And I just this year, I'm really feeling a big pushback from my subconscious. Like, why even bother? And all of these
Oh,
things have been proven to be successful for me in the past. Like when I set my mind to do something, I can certainly do it. And I know that, the way that I work with people helps them and changes them. So there's literally no reason for me to feel any of these ways. So for me, I am just taking action and remembering that it doesn't always feel good to take that action. I think I sometimes want this like golden light to come down from the heavens, right?
yeah. I
And
hear
to
that.
remind me
I hear
that
that. Well, it's
tomorrow.
funny. I kind of want to marry a couple of things that we're talking about here, like within your expansion of navigating the way that you show up in your professional energy, you are coming across some things that feel uncomfortable. And one of the things I just observed was, that internal dialogue. And I wanted to talk on that a little bit because that's my main goal moving forward. Not necessarily like New Year's or whatever, but ever
Mhm.
since the breakup and, having to break down my bunkie and just so many different things that I made decisions from my heart. And this destruction, so to speak, and deconstruction, and
Mhm.
the very long sentence we're going to use of having to pivot because a lot of shit got put upon me as a word, but we
Put
don't know what it
upon.
is. But what's interesting is I remember laying in bed one morning and I was replaying a conversation in my head from my ex. And I said to myself, "Oh my God, Laura, this is so stupid. Why are you still thinking about this? Like, that's kind of a stupid way to think about it." And
Mm,
I was direct with myself, but I wasn't nice. You know what I mean? And so
mhm,
I thought, "Oh, well, I can handle direct, but in this next chapter for me, regardless of it's winter or solstice or whatever the fuck it is, I want to actually be more kind in the way I speak to myself." And so I put my
mhm,
hand on my heart and I said, "I love you. I am listening. And
mm.
it's okay to feel this way. And I'm so
Right,
glad that you noticed it. Good job.
right,
Next, I'm going to give
exactly.
myself an opportunity next time to maybe speak a little kinder to myself because I also want to resonate that moving forward in relationships with everybody. I want to resonate that energy. So that's the only thing that comes at me, unless someone's just a
Mhm,
dick. You know what I mean?
right, yeah,
So I see
and
that like long-term infusion of newness in your expansion coming out, and I wish you and I know you are a very, very smart human, and I'm so proud of you, and you're crushing it, and I know that it's gonna turn out really well, and I think that being okay, being uncomfortable is gonna be clutch for you.
right. Well, and that's the whole point, and I agree that if while you're uncomfortable, you're also saying, "You stupid piece of shit," then you're not gonna be any more comfortable. It's not gonna make you any more
No,
successful,
no.
and
Like
I'm
words are
definitely
hard.
very aware that that is
Yeah.
not what we're doing over here. I think
Yeah.
it's just more when you step into a space that you don't have a lot of experience in, or when you get into a new chapter in your life, even if it isn't necessarily by choice,
Yeah.
then you are forced to take a look at things and remind
Mhm.
yourself, number one, who the fuck you are. Number
Yeah.
two, that you have the ability to bring back that bitch and like
Yeah.
that bitch, you know what I mean,
Yeah. Yes.
into
Snap, snap, snap.
any
That one.
circumstance. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be just
Yes.
in good times. And so,
Yeah.
with change, any kind of change, it is tough.
Yeah. And it's nice to take those moments where you recognize it and use it for fuel to project forward in that expansion as opposed to proof to staying in almost like a victimness in the
Mhm.
smallness, if that makes sense. Use it
Right.
as fuel,
Mhm.
not proof. Yeah.
Absolutely. And remembering that I just feel like as a culture, and certainly I've noticed this on myself because I've seen myself over the past 10 years transition fully from one human being who did one thing to another human being who does something completely different and lives a completely different life. And
Yeah.
I think when I look at how I approached change and how I approached challenge 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
then what kind of the internet has done to our brain in the time now, where
Yeah.
it's like, I tried it, it doesn't seem like it's working immediately. So I guess I'm just gonna give up.
So I'm going to keep scrolling, right? And see what works.
Right. I'm just gonna go back and like watch Younger on Netflix. Speaking of, have you seen Younger on Netflix?
Yes. Well,
Hillary
sorry, I
Duff.
watched 2 episodes. I have only seen 2. Yeah.
When did it come out? Must have been a
Oh, that's
million years
old.
ago, but it's
A little
so
older, yeah.
good.
It's cute. It's cute.
Because I have to watch a little something while I floss and brush my teeth at night,
Oh, that's cute.
because it makes me be very detailed with my flossing, and I
Oh,
love
I
it.
love
Makes me
that.
so happy. Yep.
That's funny. I end up taking all the pillows off my bed and closing the blinds and all that. Like while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm walking around doing stuff.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's really what we do.
I know we got to be multitasking.
Stop drinking your coffee naked. Yeah, I said it. You're out here raw dogging caffeine like anxiety's your morning ritual. Girl, enough. It's time to stop pretending coffee is self care when it's really just nervous system cosplay. Instead, try Supercube, the coffee enhancing supplement your hormones, your gut, and your sanity have been waiting for. It turns your mug into a superfood rebellion packed with highly absorbable protein, medicinal mushrooms like turkey tail reishi and cordyceps, plus ceremonial grade cacao, coconut cream, and 3 Chinese herbs that whisper, "You've got this." No crash, no chaos, just smooth, steady, grounded energy that actually feels human. So ditch the jitter juice, stir in 1 scoop of sorcery, and suddenly you're unstoppable and somehow still calm. And that's what balance actually feels like. Try Supercube, the coffee that loves you back. Hopefully less multitasking in the new year, though. I'm hopeful that, with this current feeling of being slow and just being so bringing that unconscious level of I don't want to hustle like that, maybe like I used to. I know the earth can't
Mhm.
handle the hustling that we've been doing. Like we need to settle into that less fight, 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 flight, 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 all of it. I think it'll be really nice to have that just in front of mind moving into the new year. It's really great. I
Yeah.
like it. I'm a fan of
Yeah.
these types of depth, but then again, I'm a Scorpio. I could hang out here all day.
Yeah, totally. I think for me, my goal is to have action, always have an action that I am taking toward my goals, like not all, 24 hours a day, but once a
Sure.
day, I would like to do something in favor of the person I want to be in the next 10 years. And
Yeah.
so, whether that is, I really don't want to work out, but I do have the time and I do have the
Mhm.
pocket. And I know that I want to be strong and I know that I want to have a good, solid cardiovascular system and liver and all of that.
Yeah.
And I really did get off of that train. So for me, it's not like a hustle workout. It could be a yoga. It could be a
Yeah.
stretch. It could be a walk with my vest on. It could be a walk without my vest on. And
Mhm.
all of that, counts. And so it's not so much like, yes, the workout has to be perfect, but it is like, if it is available and it was a plan, then I do want to complete it.
Yeah.
And that helps with anxiety of like if I do try something on and don't feel my best in it, for example.
I hear you saying, which is a theme that we use here on She's Got Guts a lot, which is it's great to take inventory. It's great to observe about your body. It's great to make sure that you know what works for you. And then with the action there, what you've always said is it's a little bit. It's a little bit every
Yeah,
day. It
right.
doesn't have to be the huge overhaul like we've talked about with some other providers on here before. It's
Hmm.
just a simple what do I need right now that will help that energy go forward? Whether it's I need to eat the egg instead of the banana in the morning so that you can
Hmm.
have a different type of metabolism, whatever. When I've been making my super cube, I've been doing some crazy weird stretches and like some kind of qigong type stuff just because I'm so tired. It's so dark that I'm like, man, I gotta
Hmm.
move around, but I really don't want to go outside. It's really cold. So I'm like doing weird stuff inside. But that little bit makes such a difference for when I go and
Yeah,
sit, because if I don't move at
right,
all and then sit, no, that's day is never gonna work. So those
right.
little things, you do a good job of really encouraging people with those. And I listen to you, Molly. I do my little things.
Oh, that's good. I think something for me this year is to really celebrate the small things and understand that if you're doing small things every day, that's a lot more buildable and sustainable and impactful
Yeah.
than if you're doing big things for 1 week and then not for two
Yeah,
months and then 1 week and
absolutely.
then not. That's how I am treating the new year is I am making sure
Mhm.
that if I'm feeling unease or anxious or
Mhm.
whatever, that I identify why, like what it's about at least, and
Yeah.
then do some kind of action, whether it's physically moving the energy like we're talking about, whether it's
Mhm.
sitting down and completing a task that does not take very long that needs to be
Mhm.
completed, or
Yeah.
whether it is having a conversation with someone who maybe, the relationship feels weird or whatever it is. And that is my three things for the new year.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
not
great.
rocket science this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. One thing I'd like to focus on too is trying to stay a little more in the flow. As a single mom and an entrepreneur with two businesses and, growing one, I'm still involved in all the facets of Supercube, right? Like I am in the kitchen. Yesterday, my youngest son and I went in and we made like 8, 10 batches of cube together. It was great
Mm,
because it was the solstice and Duke was with me. And so I think these next like 100 jars that go out are going to be so special because they're just infused with so much goodness of this year. So probably buy
and
your super
love.
cube now to get a jar of those. But being in that flow, Saturday was on my calendar, was the day to do production because it just fit better with what was all the other things that I had to do. But I woke up on Saturday and my period finally started because I had
Mhm.
my first month without ever getting a period. But what was interesting is it came on the new moon. I was like, "Oh, I've been a full moon bleeder all year. I guess I'm switching over to the new moon for 2026," which makes sense because 2025 kinda sucked on the full moon, so I'm happy to have it switch around. That's great. But I woke up and I was like, "I don't wanna push it today.
Mhm.
I can bump it to tomorrow, and I
Mhm.
would prefer to do it on the solstice anyway, and Duke's available." So just kind of being a little bit more in that flow instead of rigidly holding myself to, like, what my calendar says, and allowing that ease to accumulate, kinda like what you talked about, like taking that action of the small things. I'm kind of in a I feel like that's a what you're saying is a like a nice yang approach to it, like, let's take some action, whereas I'm kind of backing up and sitting down and taking a little more of a yin action about it almost, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. I'm like, what does need to happen next? Because there's some things in my life that I can't control. And I just truly do have to accept that I am kind of have to wait and see what's going to be best for me. And that can be really hard sometimes. It's not that I'm not taking action. I am nonstop all day, every day. But in that sense of, the bigger stuff, I'm really trying to sit back and go, well, the answers will come. It will be clear. It will be clear. And just like now, like I just looked at the clock, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, I haven't not seen 11:11 in months. And that makes me feel like, those types of little things like, "Oh, that sign,
Yeah.
that's cool. I'm on a good path. I'm sitting in a good vibration, and I'd like to nourish that more." So that's kind
That's
of my big
amazing.
my yin flow, trying to stay in the yin flow. This year was hard. I'm grateful for the lessons though. I'm ready to just be like, okay, I let that go and I'm taking the lessons and recognizing the space that was open for letting go. Like if it's,
Mhm.
I feel like this time right now is like a glorified, larger global version of a full moon, right? The full moon's always like, let go of the things that aren't serving you. What happened, da, 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 this month. And I feel like this is a way bigger version of that where you got to
Yeah.
step out a little bit more into how far you're expanding. Is that far enough? Like our bubbles have been a lot smaller since 2020. Are we
Mm.
letting our energy, are we being vulnerable and letting our energy come back out, especially with the layers of politics and our world? It's hard to feel like there's a lot to reach for that's positive. Families are having trouble, financial troubles. It's tough. Um, but I know deep down inside of all of us, we are wired for connection. And so I
Mhm.
feel like this galloping horse that's coming soon and coming out of the winter solstice will be a great way for us to spend more time feeling stronger, hopefully, to connect with all that space that's been made over this 2025. Ooh, can you believe it's been 5 years since COVID? 5 years.
There's a lot of things that I can't believe.
I mean, like,
And, it's like even just thinking about what a daily experience was like
hmm
6 years ago
yeah. Yes.
versus now, like what we've become accustomed to in terms
Yes.
of everything being completely different.
Uh-huh.
And, really having to reach inside of myself and say, you can't sit in the someone's trying to control you or conspiracy or, like
Mhm.
the whatever the universe is against you. Not universe, but,
Yeah,
like
almost like a victim mentality. Yeah.
you can't sit in a victim mentality
Yeah.
is right.
Yeah.
You can't sit in a put upon mentality. Because when you do that, then the energy that you're sending out into the world is that of
You're not ready to receive.
disturbance.
Yeah, you're not ready
You're
to
but you're also not, like you just said, we're wired for connection. You can't connect when you're constantly angry. And,
yeah.
I'll see it in the comments and other people's in my own posts. Oh, well, that's because they blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah.
like, we can't control everything.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what we can control is how we speak to each other, even if there's no face behind the name, and also how we perceive the world, because that is a choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of the time, there's, when you are in an experience with the world and you get to make a decision about it, there's a lot of layers in between there. It's trauma, it's where you're at
Yeah.
in your cycle, it's did I eat today? Is it what's my boss doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then you finally get to come up with some sort of hopefully response and not reaction that feels aligned with what you want. And
Yeah.
that's a practice. That's a forever practice. I think the
And
foundations for forever foundations, or kind of like a non-negotiable, like a forever
right,
foundation. What do I want to hold on to, or at least in this chapter?
right,
What am I going to hold on to forever in this chapter? And how do I create that as a foundation? And it's
correct.
fun.
And so for
Whatever.
me, it's that we are a loving community of people by nature. And
Yeah.
I choose to believe in the good. And that's it. Like I can't, if I drift too far in one direction, I have to bring it
Mhm.
back. And
Mhm.
how can I pour back into the world and make it at least a little bit easier for the people around me?
Yeah.
And I know that, other people don't want to feel that way or may not feel that way. And I have to consciously choose to let that happen for them and
Yeah.
continue to stay true to what my personal foundation is. Because if I'm just so empathic that if I let all of these things, like the way that the world has changed since COVID and the vaccine and now the whole political thing and the fact that there are things that I believe that, my friends don't believe and things that my friends don't believe that I believe,
Yeah.
then it's like, oh shoot, that could really bring you down and you never get back up. And I
Yeah.
can't live the next 50 years of my life angry
Right.
and sad.
Right. Yeah. So fuck it. Let's create a fun future foundation. Those are my
Love
3
it.
F's.
Yes. And then when the tides start to turn, the days are longer, the Chinese New Year comes around. We've
Mm.
gotten on our feet in January. We've done a little zhuzhing after the
Mhm.
holidays, meaning started to eat normal food again and drink enough water and maybe reduce some of the junk food, alcohol, fried food, sugar, whatever it is for you, intake
Yeah.
to bring our body back into more of a homeostasis, more of a balance,
Mhm.
then we can talk about actually setting some goals from your right mind. Right now, I
Right.
don't feel like I'm in my right mind and I don't want to,
Yeah, that's
plan
a
like I
really
got
good
this
point.
planner. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
doing
a
it.
good point, Molly. That's a really good point to reflect on the fact that, if you're in a conversation with your partner and you're having like a difficult time and both of you are, let's just say, flooded, that's not the
Mhm.
best time to have the best decision come. Like you might have little snippets of light that come from it, or maybe a realization or something. But when you're flooded, it's going to be really hard to continue that conversation. So being
Yeah.
mindful that if we back up and look at what's happening, most of us are drinking more. If you're drinkers, most of us are staying up too late. I know it's really hard when you get like, I want to go to sleep at 4 p.m. And then I have like 3 wins after that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I have napped a lot. I'm not going to lie. But yeah,
Mhm.
recognizing that no good decision comes, I mean, I shouldn't say no good decision. You might get some realizations, but being able to really decide what works for you when you're in the middle of the storm can be really difficult. Like, what is actually happening? Like, do I really feel that way? Like, is my cellular structure who I really am right now? Or am I just heavily influenced by having anxiety after a bunch of drinks and being around my family, which was triggering, and having to spend a shit ton of money on an obligatory holiday if it's not necessarily like aligned with your religious beliefs or whatever. Like it's a
Sure.
lot.
Yeah,
There's
it
so
is.
much obligatory stuff that is fun within that, but yeah, that's hard. You're right. It's really hard to have good decisions around that time. That's a great point.
If you really are someone that likes to jazz yourself up on the first, absolutely roll with that. If you're
Mhm.
someone that feels a lot of shame for not liking to jazz yourself up on the first, let's get rid of the shame and
Yeah.
instead pick a few small things that you can do to start to sweat out the feelings and
Yeah.
the
Last few
whatever
months.
overconsumption or whatever it was in
Mhm.
December for you. Sweat that out and then reapproach it. When is the Chinese New Year? Like the 9th of February?
No, this year it's the 17th of February. So we have a
Oh,
little bit of time. Yeah, it's a little bit
wow.
longer this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that still leaves you with a good,
Mhm.
10 months
Yeah.
to achieve the goals that you set. So it is okay if you don't come out swinging
Yeah.
and have everything be perfect.
Yeah. That's very true. Very true. I
All
love that
right.
idea.
Well, next week we're going to talk about hair loss and
Woo!
perimenopause. Yeah,
Yes.
big
Yeah.
topic
That's
needs to be
that's the
said.
thing.
Please do us a favor and like or share this episode. Subscribe to the podcast if this is your first time. You want to get updated when there are new episodes. Let us know in the comments or via the contact information that we put in the show notes what you want to hear about this year, what you're interested in learning about, whether it is Eastern medicine, Western medicine, functional medicine, general opinions, women's
Yeah.
health. We are open to
Yeah.
all of it, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yes. Bring it. I am so excited. Let's
Ow!
talk more.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for listening. We offer personalized support to clients in many ways and would love to work with you. Reach out to Lara at Lala's Wellness and Molly at Women's Gut Health for more information. Unlock your full health and hormone potential with Super Q, Boom Bomb, and Best Tea. Check out the link in the show notes for more. See you next Saturday.